What's up, guys? Michael from Halfway back with a brand new movie talk. I decided to switch the name. I didn't tell you yet. Back with a brand new movie talk. Today, I am once again joined by Jared. And this month, we decided to, instead of like going out and finding one that was already out, there's a big movie that came out that I'm like, there's enough to talk about. So today, we're going to be talking about DUNE Part 2. We're only 2 weeks late on this.
Let's go.
I'm hoping it's still relevant by the time this video comes out.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be, but yeah, we're a little bit late. But that's it. And also, that's what I want to say real quick. I decided if you're down, we can keep the name Movie Club. I think that's a cool name too. Yeah. But I was like, Movie Talk might be. I kind of like the Movie Talk name.
Throwing it back. That was
that was like the OG name. I'm like, let's just do Movie Talk. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then it's
just name, man.
Because then we can just do it whenever. Still aim to do it once a month, but it's like we don't have to do it on a certain day or anything.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, today's Movie Talk, we're gonna be talking about Dune Part 2. And it's funny because I'm going to be seeing this again tomorrow. Yep. And I was telling Elijah, I was like, part of me wanted to wait to record this until I saw it again, just in case I have more thoughts on it. But I literally won't have time to record, edit, and post video by Friday. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's just do it now. So quick.
Initial thoughts?
Yeah. I fucking thought it was great.
Fantastic.
I honestly thought it was really fucking good. When the first Dune movie came out, and this is also gonna be like a Dune Part 1 talk kind of also, because I feel like it's just...
You need the context.
Yeah, you need the context. You can talk about like both of them. When the first Dune movie came out, I liked it, but I wasn't like in love with it. A lot of Dune Part 1 felt like a lot of setup and world building, and even at the time, I was more excited for Dune Part 2 because the director, I don't know how to say his name. Denis Villeneuve. Well, the director of Dune. That's how I'm going to refer to him. Yeah. Like, I can't pronounce his name. The director of Dune, when the first movie was coming out, was saying that he always envisioned this as a 2-part story. He was like, we can only make the second one if the first one is successful enough. Yeah. So the first one always felt to me more like laying the groundwork and getting audiences introduced to it. And I think for what it is, it's still a really good movie.
It's a great movie. I like
great movie. They do a lot of world building, and that's where it gets, at least for me, a little complicated because they're throwing so many terms at you. There's a bunch of like different different like houses and stuff that you like, names and shit,
factions and all this shit.
The first one is very, very dense with like information.
They throw a lot at you, and it's definitely like hard to grasp it at the first watch through. Like you have to definitely like read a little bit, and the way I learned like all the lore was through like TikTok. Like I'd just get video, like For You page would just be scrolling with Dune videos, dude. And I would learn everything through that. That's how I like actually know stuff now, you know.
Even reading it, even watching it a second time, I was still so confused, honestly, with like everything, because they just throw so much at you. And it was so funny because I'm like, I was reading up on like the Wikipedia page after just to get like a better understanding. Even the Wikipedia page confused the fuck out of me.
I think I have a decent grasp. I think
much going on. Yeah. But after watching the second one, I think I understand everything else a lot more now. I think when I was watching the first one, I was trying to like, I don't know, look for certain things, or like maybe I was reading too deep into certain things. But now with the second one out, I think I have a much better understanding of that world, and I like just the Dune world a lot.
Going back to the first movie, I'd say like for me, right when the first movie ended, it felt like the same, similar to Spider-Verse, the first part of Spider-Verse, to where like once the first movie ended, you just wanted to go right into the second movie.
Are you talking about the first Spider-Verse or the second Spider-Verse?
The second Spider-Verse, sorry. Okay, yeah. The first part of the second one.
With the cliffhanger?
Yeah. So like that's how like Dune Part 1 ended for me, where I was like literally like it felt like the movie was going to keep going. You know? I was like, oh, now shit gets real, and then it ended. And I'm like, fuck.
Dude, and it also came out at such a weird time, and I was worried when it first came out because...
When did it come out? 2021?
2021. It was right around the time when movie theaters are like opening up again, and this is one of the first major movies. And it also launched same day on HBO Max, because that's when Warner Brothers...
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
So when the first movie came out and the director was talking about how a second one will only get made if this first one's successful. Dude, I was riding for Dune 1 so hard. I didn't even... it was so weird to me because I didn't necessarily love the first movie. Again, it's not that it's bad. I don't. He was
more for the love of movies.
It's just I was like, I wanted Dune Part 2 so fucking bad that I was like, I hope Dune 1 is successful enough. And honestly, for a while, I wasn't even sure if it was, and I didn't even realize like the second one was coming out, or I did know it was coming out, but like it moved a lot faster than I expected it to.
Give me Messiah,
dude. Dune 2, fucking awesome. Honestly, complete. Like I like this one so much more than the first one. And it's one of those movies where I now retroactively like the first one a lot more.
Yeah, it just makes it like if you go back, I feel like after I haven't rewatched after part 2, but I feel like if you went back and watched the first one, it would make more sense, and you'd be like, "Fuck, this is gonna happen."
Yeah,
like, you know everything.
You know
like,
the whole story.
God
and everything.
Damn, like Dune Part 2 is just such like a fucking epic movie.
Exactly,
like,
dude.
I feel like we haven't had a movie like this in a long time.
No, and it gives me such at least the push that they're doing for this gives me vibes of like I guess like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or something where they're trying to like just push this like
some
new
grand,
universe, but like
movie.
it doesn't really. It feel. On one hand, it feels a little forced, like they want like the Dune world to pop off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's so interesting and it's so well done that I'm fucking down for it, bro.
It's like
honestly.
the Dune universe was like it was the first to really kind of do it.
Yeah.
Like so many things have spawned from it, so it's like I feel like they got to give them their flowers and make movies out of it.
It's crazy too because I'm watching Dune and I'm like, wow, this is giving me vibes of like Star Wars and
so many different things.
Attack on Titan and like all these things, and I'm like, I'm like, wow, it feels like those movies and stuff. And then I think I'm like, nah, actually, those movies are like Dune.
Exactly.
Dune isn't like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is like Dune, bro.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just gonna preface this right now. Spoilers, right? Are we gonna talk spoilers for Dune?
100%.
Yeah, there's gonna be spoilers just because.
Should have said that earlier.
Yeah, we didn't spoil anything yet though.
No,
so if they got this
okay.
far, just keep watching.
That was our little pre.
Yeah, the pre non-spoiler stuff is Dune Part 2 is great, and you should go watch it. But the spoiler stuff, while I was watching it, I'm like, bro, Paul is exactly like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he literally is giving me Anakin Skywalker.
I saw a
vibes
TikTok.
Right
it was like, at first I thought it was Luke, and then and I realized he was fucking Anakin.
Dude,
I'm like, oh shit.
I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, this is also not only is it like Star Wars, but to me, it's a better fucking Star Wars. Honestly, I'm like, this is how Anakin should have been in the fucking prequels. Instead of being like an angsty, like emo teenager pretty much, like I wish he was more like this where he's just, dude, Paul is God.
He's just a dog.
He's a dog, but he's also fucking God. He's fucking
he is the Messiah.
Muad'dib.
Muad'dib. However you fucking pronounce it.
I love that kind of shit when it's well done. When it's like when it's half-assed, I hate it. It's a god character storyline is either really good or just fucking ass and like they fuck it up. This great. Oh my god, it's so great. I love throughout the movie you can see him like struggling with this like inner battle pretty much of just knowing like what the future holds but trying his best to like avoid it until it gets to a point where he's like, I can't avoid this anymore. Like this is what's gonna happen.
And also that's what I feel like I really liked about this world is like it's one of those things where you think in your head, you're like, is he really a Messiah? Like, or is it just, the seeds that have been planted over hundreds of years by the Bene Gesserit? Mm-hmm. So it's like one of those things where like, it's a little bit of a gray area where like you really don't know if he's a god, and then eventually you realize he's pretty much fucking badass as fuck. That's all I gotta say.
And going back to what you said earlier, now that this one's out, it's like I want the next one really bad. I want Dune Messiah. But when I walked out of that theater, I felt so satisfied.
Yeah, it was good.
I want Dune Messiah. Don't get me wrong. But I also only want Dune Messiah if the same director is attached. Yeah. And what I'm worried about is I'm worried that because everything I was reading before, he was saying that he wants to do it, but there's other projects he has in the works that he wants to get done first. Yeah. My concern is Warner Brothers is going to see this massive hit and be like, we want to get this greenlit and put into production.
I feel like he wants a break a little bit.
And I'm worried that they're going to do it without him, and I think it's going to suck. But even aside from that, honestly, bro, I'm so satisfied with part 1 and part 2 that if it ended here, I'd be chill. I want more because I think this is such an interesting world, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm so satisfied with how it came out. I don't really need to know what happens next. I feel like he had a full arc and full journey, and I'm very satisfied with I walked out of that theater feeling very fucking satisfied.
If I didn't know anything about the lore or anything like that, I would have just been like, damn, what a great conclusion.
Well, also he's
gonna live a happy life.
I never read the books. I started reading the first one back in like 2019 or something. I didn't get very far because it's a very, just like the movie, it's like a very complicated book, and like reading it just confuses the fuck out of me even more. But I was like looking it up, and there's a lot of books and they're still being made but apparently the only good Dune books are the first two.
That's what I heard too.
Like the first two are good.
I heard
and
they
then it
just
gets
get
into
weird.
some weird
Just get
shit,
weird
and
as
it's just
fuck.
not. And I'm like, I don't know if I care as much about that.
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to go back and read Dune 1 and Dune Messiah. And then also, I saw like a TikTok where this guy was saying that, and I agree with him, that Dune is one of the only like movies where it's probably better to watch the movie first and then go back and read the book. And I kind of agree, because when I first read it, it was just a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And I personally didn't get super invested in it. But now that I've seen part 1 and part 2, I'm like, I feel like going back and reading the books would hit so hard. I feel like it'd be so entertaining. So what were some of your notes?
Just like the cinematography. We want to talk about that.
Your cinematography?
Yeah.
Top notch.
Top notch.
CGI?
Yeah.
Great. The action? Great.
Oh, God. Here we go. Everything's great.
Everything, dude. Everything was great.
It was top notch.
The seeing it in IMAX was also fucking awesome.
That was the way to do it.
Yeah, definitely the way to do it. We're seeing it in
If
Dolby.
you can see it in IMAX.
I think we're seeing it in Dolby tomorrow, so I'm interested to see how that.
I mean, Dolby
is like.
smacks.
Dolby does smack. I'm curious to see how that's going to match up though to seeing it in IMAX. And we went with someone who it was their first time going to the City Walk IMAX, and I'm like, what a great first movie to see, because like there's a lot of movies they release in IMAX that like they just kind of throw in IMAX, but it's not really meant for it. But this movie was definitely made for. And also, what this movie is super important in the film world, I guess, or like the theater world. It was like Dune. I think what was it? It was like the large formats were selling out like crazy, but the standard wasn't selling as well. And so Dune Part 2 shows this like, or continues this pivot more to larger format screenings. Like Oppenheimer also kind of started that wave of like, now people are more aware, I think, of IMAX and like this, like there's certain ways to see things.
There's better, because there's ways that it's meant to be seen and ways that you can just watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Because with like streaming and everything, it's kind of a harder sell to get people into theaters. But when you have movies like Dune or Oppenheimer that are like these experiences that are meant for like IMAX or these large format theaters, it gets people more invested in wanting to go to the theater. Like dude, buying the fucking tickets for part 2 was impossible. It was I was shocked at how hard it was to get Dune Part 2 tickets. I got like Avengers Endgame tickets no problem, but Dune Part 2, I barely even got it. It was sold out. It's still sold out to this day, I'm pretty sure. Like we were looking at showtimes for tomorrow. We're going to go to IMAX again, but it was sold out completely. So like it's just crazy seeing how well it's doing in that format.
Yeah,
and it makes me excited, I guess, for like the future of IMAX and seeing hopefully more movies getting put into that format.
Can't wait. Oh, one thing I want to talk about was just really funny. The one guy, I forget his name.
Stilgar?
Yeah. He was like I wrote in my notes, it was like Master Glazer.
Dude, Glaze fucking Glaze King. Honestly, I want someone that's as down as Stilgar, bro. If my bro isn't like Stilgar, then I don't want it, bro. I don't want it.
Master Glazer.
I think what's also crazy about this movie and the first one, honestly, is how they have such big name actors.
Oh my God.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And for some of them,
cast
30 seconds, honestly.
And like I heard like a lot of the cast like took big pay cuts just to be in the movie, like, which is crazy.
That's what I like to see. Yeah. That's what I like to see, because it makes it like, as a viewer at least, it makes me more interested in wanting to see it, because like all these people just want to be part of that world and that universe. One of the big things I guess I should point out is Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides does a great job.
Yeah.
One thing that I was not concerned with, I guess, but one thing I was like, kind of, it was in my head before seeing the movie was Timothée Chalamet is in the same category as like Tom Holland for me.
You think so?
Where I don't see them as an adult. I see them as like a young kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's he's like 26, 27 or something.
Yeah, I know.
Like
he's like old for sure. Or not old. He's not old. But he's like older for sure. Like I know he's like almost 30. But like he gives off just like young adult energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm curious to see if he'll be able to
transition
into like a role of like a king and like a ruler of people. And I think he honestly did a pretty good job in part 2. Like by the end of it, I believed him. Dude, I was like, he's definitely like a leader.
Yeah. After he took the fucking whatever, the worm juice or whatever.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. Such Attack on Titan. Do you ever watch Attack on Titan?
I didn't finish it.
Oh
but
my
it's whatever.
god! Jim.
Spoilers. I don't give a fuck. But what I was gonna say was that speech or that scene where he was like, people were like doubting him, and he was in that big like hall or whatever. It wasn't a hall, a big old whatever. Everyone was being like kind of like, you know, like saying he was like, oh, you're not the fucking whatever, and then he would like, your fucking mother. Blah,
You're
blah,
not
blah.
him,
like,
bro. You're not him.
He knew all this shit about them, and he was like actually like fucking killing it in that scene. It was fucking awesome,
dude. So do you are you gonna finish Attack on Titan?
Probably not, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna spoil it then.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go for it.
I
think I've gone it's spoiled.
While I was watching it, it really, and that's what I was saying before. Watching Dune Part 2, it makes me look at all these other things and see how many other things took inspiration from Dune.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily if Attack on Titan did take inspiration from Dune, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Like once Paul takes
it's like that's how Aaron Yeager.
Yeah, that once Paul takes the water,
like
drinks the water of life, and then suddenly he's like omnipotent, understands like all of life. Same shit in Attack on Titan. Once he gets the founding Titan, then he sees everything.
And it's like Bran from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then he's just like a changed person. I forgot about fucking Bran from Game of Thrones. Same thing where it's like and side note real quick, Bran to me is an example of a character that it's not done well in my opinion.
No, not at all.
That's why I don't like. But it's the same thing where once I just love this trope, honestly, of once someone sees everything, they're just changed and they're just fucked up, honestly, and just completely different. That scene of him yelling at everyone and like getting them all to like follow him, one of the best scenes in a movie in a while for me. That was just, it was so impactful. But
so impactful.
One reason why I'm excited to see it again is because when we went to go see it the first time, I had to pee really bad.
Did you leave?
So I went to go pee. That's not the issue because I went pee at a
Here's
perfect
a funny
time.
thing. I didn't even notice you peed.
It's so invested in the movie. I went to go pee. That's not an issue. I didn't really care that much because I went. It was like and I'm not trying to talk shit, but there was like a little talking scene. Like obviously it's important, but it wasn't important. So I was like, I went to go pee and it was fine. But when I went out. We live in California, so I just want to preface that this is legal what I did, but I had a little pen, a marijuana pen, and I was like, I want to just hit this real fast before going back in. It was like right before that scene where he's like yelling at everyone.
Walking into that, oh my god!
So I hit the pen, coming back from the bathroom, went back to my seat, and I was sitting there, and I was like, wow, I am too high right now. And I was low key just kind of like tripping in my head, and I zoned out of a lot. And during that scene I zoned out. I was just like, I was like, wow. I'm like, what if I have to leave this? I'm like looking around, and I'm like, what if should I just get up and just leave right now? And then I'm like, no. I'm like, that makes it way more real. So I kind of just sat there, and then he gives that like speech and like just goes crazy.
And you're back.
And literally, then I was like back. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
Damn.
But it kind of, it was just funny because it kind of ruined my time a little bit, and I was just like, wow, I hate that I did that. I should have just chilled. And then I had to pee again so fucking bad. I don't know what happened, bro. I had too many liquids with me that day. I had a fucking full icy. I had my hydro because I forgot about this part. Because I was tripping so hard, what I normally will do is just like drink my hydro, and it makes me feel better. So I chugged my fucking hydro during that whole scene. And by the time it gets to like the ending, I had to pee so fucking bad. I was so glad that the ending fight was not like an hour like Marvel movies or Marvel movies like they drag it out.
The final battle was
good. It was great. It wasn't overly long. It was perfect, and especially perfect for someone who has to go pee really fucking bad. And I was like, I don't want this movie to end necessarily, but I also do want it to end because I have to fucking piss. So hopefully I don't have that experience tomorrow. And if I do, whatever, I'll just fucking go pee.
That final fight scene was fucking sick.
Okay, and I'm gonna be honest, I remember the final fight scene.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the final fight
scene. So basically the ending, him and Faith Rada, they do the one-on-one combat
thing. Yeah, I do.
But what I liked about it is like there was no music behind it. It was just fucking two fucking warriors going at it, bro.
One thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and I feel like I might get shit for it right now, I'm not sure. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is Zendaya's character. I think Zendaya does a great job, and I do like her character enough, but a lot of her character trait, or a lot of her character, to me, feels more like she's there to tell the audience that what Paul is doing is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's like a funnel for what you
Yeah,
do.
it's just more so like she's kind of like the voice of reason, and then that's how you know like what he's doing isn't right. I wouldn't prefer it without her, but I think it was like if she wasn't there, or if she wasn't like acting as that like
I think it's
vessel,
necessary.
I think it would have been fine.
I think it's necessary if you think about it in the context of like how he's like basically like commandeering her people to like get revenge on his family, you know? So it's like the voice of like the people a little bit.
No, I get I get I get it, and she's valid. It all makes sense. I just think for me, I'm like, it feels a little on the nose, I guess, and it's just kind of like
Coliseum scene was sick too.
Yeah, the Coliseum when the color grading changed, it was black and white. There was
because of the planet is like their sun's black, so like it makes the outside.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
I was curious.
And, like, that's why they have like bald hair and shit.
It's
because of their
style
planet.
choice, or is this like
it's because of their planet? I guess
that's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Overall though, I think Dune Part 2 is great. I was worried going into it like maybe it'll be overhyped because like we saw it a week late. So I was like, I feel like and luckily I didn't get anything spoiled for me. Usually I would. I didn't get anything spoiled.
I don't think I got anything spoiled. I don't remember. I think I got some small thing spoiled, but I was very happy about that.
And I thought it was fucking great. I think it works really well as a part 2 to the first movie. I feel like watching both of them back to back would take forever, but it would be like a really great experience because then you get like the full story. I'm glad that the director got the chance to make this movie, because I know, like, again, reading before the first movie came out, this is like the movie he's always wanted to make, like, since he was a kid. So it's cool to finally see someone who's that passionate about it make something like this and do it on the level that he did, and it didn't feel half-assed. It didn't feel like he was taking his own creative liberties or anything. Like, he just made a faithful adaptation.
Yeah,
it was fucking solid.
Dude, and one thing I wanted to, on a different note, remember when he was riding the worm? And like his hook like pulled the fucking like
the flap,
dude. It was that shit grossed me the fuck out.
Dude, that's funny you brought that up.
Grossed me the fuck out.
It was so gross, but also so good. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's gross. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also like, fuck, dude. Like that's just I don't know, something about it. There's just something about it.
It made me feel very uncomfortable.
It scratched a weird itch in my brain.
It didn't. It did not do that for me at all.
But yeah, no. Dune Part 2 is very solid. I think I would give it.
Are we doing out of 10 or out of 5?
It's like the same. What did we? Let's
Letterboxd.
Let's go Letterboxd, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it's like the same thing technically. We'll go Letterboxd score though. Okay. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm going to give it a 5.
5 out of 5. That's fucking crazy. I don't think anyone understands how fucking crazy. You are the one person who has never given a 5 to anything, because your logic is always nothing is perfect. But I'm like, come on, you can't do this. Is this your first 5?
No, I've given 5s.
When have you given a 5 before?
Like
that's fucking.
You can check my Letterboxd, bro.
I'm gonna check your Letterboxd. That's fucking.
I got 5s out there. Don't
God damn. Honestly, that's a fucking high praise. That is high praise.
Bro. I feel like everything about it.
That's not a diss either.
No. I feel like everything about it, like. Yeah, you might have different like small nitpickies, but overall, yeah.
Yeah, no, to
overall,
me,
everything was done right. I think so. That's why I give it a 5. You know,
it's yeah. I would give it a 5. I'm gonna stick with a 4.
Like, I don't think I would really change anything.
I wouldn't change anything either.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't change anything. And I think my favorite part about this movie really is just looking at everything else that has come out now, be like before, and just seeing how much Dune, the original story, has influenced all of these other things.
Crazy.
And I think that's like my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Honestly, didn't expect a 5.
5, baby.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching this movie talk. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Next month is going to be tougher. I'm not sure what movie we're going to do yet. Next month is Coachella. Woo! So we're going to have to figure out a movie. We'll probably have to do it beforehand. That will probably be like a movie that's already out. So maybe like go follow us on Instagram or something. Maybe I'll post about it. Maybe I'll post about it on one of those on somewhere.
Hype it up.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.